We need to talk. And before you panic, just know this conversation could either save us or destroy what's left. We need to talk because silence has become the loudest weapon between us, and I'm done pretending it doesn't hurt. We need to talk, not to argue, not to win, but to finally tell the truth we've been hiding behind our smiles. We need to talk because I've been carrying something in my heart that refuses to stay quiet any longer. We need to talk, and I hope you're ready because what I am about to say will change everything between us. We need to talk because I can't sleep knowing you still believe the version of me that's not true. We need to talk, not through texts, not through cold replies, but face to face, where lies can't survive. We need to talk because pretending we're okay is slowly killing both of us in silence. We need to talk. And I don't know if it will heal us or break us, but we can't keep running from it. We need to talk because I can't keep acting like your distance doesn't hurt me anymore. We need to talk, but I'm scared because I already know your truth might shatter my peace. We need to talk because I've realized love isn't enough when communication is dead. We need to talk, and I don't mean small talk. I mean the kind that leaves us trembling but honest. We need to talk because I'm tired of guessing where I stand in your world. We need to talk, but not to blame. To understand how something so beautiful turned into something so cold. We need to talk because I deserve to know if you still see a future or just a fading memory. We need to talk because the truth has been knocking on my chest for far too long. We need to talk, not as lovers or enemies, but as two souls who owe each other honesty. We need to talk because I can't keep loving someone who's already emotionally gone. We need to talk, and no matter how painful it gets, silence will always hurt worse. We need to talk because I can't keep pretending your absence feels like peace. We need to talk, but only if you're ready to tell me what your eyes have been hiding. We need to talk because my heart has questions that your smile can't answer anymore. We need to talk because I feel the distance even when you're right next to me. We need to talk, and I'm not here to beg. I just need closure to finally breathe again. We need to talk because your silence speaks volumes, but I still crave the truth in your voice. We need to talk, and I know you're not ready, but neither was I when you started pulling away. We need to talk because this tension between us is begging for clarity before it turns into regret. We need to talk. And for once, I want you to listen, not defend, not escape. Just listen. We need to talk because I can't love someone who hides behind avoidance and fear. We need to talk. And I don't say that lightly. This time, it's about everything we've left unsaid. We need to talk because I can't tell if we're healing or just ignoring our wounds. We need to talk, not because I'm angry, but because my soul is tired of guessing your truth. We need to talk. And before you assume the worst, know this. I still care, but I'm breaking. We need to talk because love isn't supposed to feel like walking on glass. We need to talk. And I hope you're brave enough to face the words we've both been avoiding. We need to talk because pretending everything's fine has become exhausting. We need to talk because I've seen the way you look at me lately, and it's not the same. We need to talk, not to fix the past, but to understand if there's still a future. We need to talk because every time I try to move on, my heart pulls me back to you. We need to talk because this silence between us has started to feel like a slow goodbye. We need to talk, and I know it's going to hurt, but maybe it's time the truth finally speaks. We need to talk because my heart deserves honesty, even if it breaks. We need to talk, not because I want to fight, but because I want to feel something real again. We need to talk because love shouldn't feel like guessing games and half-truths. We need to talk, and I hope when I'm done, you still recognize the person standing in front of you. We need to talk because I've outgrown the version of me that kept forgiving without change. We need to talk because I refuse to keep living in emotional limbo. We need to talk, and if this is the end, let's at least end with honesty, not confusion. We need to talk because I can't keep holding back words that are burning to be said. We need to talk because somewhere between love and silence, we lost ourselves. We need to talk, not to reopen wounds, but to finally stop pretending they've healed. We need to talk because I don't recognize the way you look at me anymore. We need to talk, and maybe after that, we can finally stop breaking each other's hearts. We need to talk because I can't keep pretending this distance is just space. It feels like goodbye in slow motion. We need to talk because every time I try to move forward, a part of me still waits for your voice. We need to talk because I can't keep smiling while feeling like a stranger to the person I once called home. We need to talk, and I'm terrified, not of what you'll say, but of what you'll confirm I already know. We need to talk because my heart deserves clarity, not mixed signals wrapped in false comfort. We need to talk because you can't keep me close while keeping your heart somewhere else. We need to talk because love without communication isn't love, it's quiet suffering. We need to talk because the silence between us has grown louder than any argument ever could. We need to talk because I'm done decoding half sentences and forced smiles. We need to talk because the truth deserves to be spoken, even if it shakes the foundation we built. We need to talk because your eyes tell me one thing, but your words tell me another. We need to talk because I can feel your love slipping through my fingers, and I need to know why. We need to talk, and no matter how it ends, I want to remember that we at least tried to be honest. We need to talk because pretending we're fine is only making the silence more unbearable. We need to talk because love that hides behind fear will always fade into regret. We need to talk because I can't keep giving my all to someone who's only halfway here. We need to talk because I miss you even when you're right beside me. We need to talk because I refuse to let unspoken words become our final memory. We need to talk, and this time I need you to really listen, not defend, not escape, just hear me. We need to talk because love deserves honesty, even when honesty burns. If this touched your soul, don't scroll, like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. We need to talk because somewhere between love and distance, we forgot how to be us. We need to talk because I still replay the moment your tone changed and I never got an explanation. We need to talk because my soul is exhausted from pretending not to care. We need to talk because I can't heal from something you won't admit even happened. We need to talk because I'd rather face the truth than live in comfortable denial. We need to talk because every time I try to forget you, something reminds me why I can't. We need to talk because deep down, I think we both know this silence isn't peace, it's avoidance. We need to talk because love deserves better than whispers and emotional distance. We need to talk because I've changed and I'm not sure if you ever really saw me to begin with. We need to talk because I've outgrown the version of us that only survives on old memories. We need to talk because my heart feels like it's walking barefoot on broken promises. We need to talk because I can't keep replaying the same pain, hoping for a different ending. We need to talk because closure shouldn't come from confusion. It should come from truth. We need to talk because silence has turned our love into a ghost that still haunts me. We need to talk because I've realized holding on is hurting more than letting go ever could. We need to talk because I've built conversations in my head that never made it to your ears. We need to talk because I can't keep being the only one fighting for something that feels one-sided. We need to talk because even if this ends, I need to know it wasn't all for nothing. We need to talk because I've spent too many nights wondering if you even miss me. We need to talk because pretending not to care is breaking me more than losing you ever could. We need to talk because my heart deserves the truth, not your careful half-truths. We need to talk because every time I tried to move on, your ghost sits beside me. We need to talk because you can't rebuild trust with silence and avoidance. We need to talk because love doesn't fade overnight. It fades through neglect and distance. We need to talk because my intuition screams something you've been too afraid to say. We need to talk because we can't keep acting like strangers with shared memories. We need to talk because I can't unsee the way your energy changed toward me. We need to talk because I miss who we were before the lies, before the silence. We need to talk because I'm tired of carrying conversations that only exist in my head. We need to talk because I'm done pretending your absence doesn't echo in every part of me. We need to talk because my heart can't take another day of pretending we're okay. We need to talk because I'd rather face a painful truth than live inside a beautiful lie. We need to talk because your silence says everything I've been afraid to admit.